Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Friday, farting around, fresh gear, finance Friday. That was from Cinewhoop Opened, the local group of RC drift car guys in Denver, Colorado were super welcoming. Let us come in and fly around, and it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. What's up, people? We're going to go through a couple different websites, take a look at if anything's in stock, take a look at new items. We do this every once in a while. Also going to take a look at, I'm going to start to spec out and figure out what AIO I want to run on the 3-inch freestyle setup with my frame. What's the company that makes the really... I keep wanting to say toolkit, but it's not toolkit. TuneRC. We're going to look around for some TuneRC AIOs and see if there's a good one for the 3-inch freestyle setup that I'm going to be doing in my frame that Ryan Harold designed so that we can start flying it. If you hear any insane sounds, there's guys working on the patio and the back door and the gutters and a bunch of other stuff. So for anybody wearing headphones, I apologize. Nothing I can really do about it. They were supposed to be done by now, but a huge rainstorm rolled in like 2 hours ago, and it's just been dumping rain for the entire time. Speaking of, let me... It wasn't raining that hard. The flooding only happens when it rains super hard. Yeah, we're good. No wetness anymore. Well, no wetness when it doesn't rain horrendously hard. Again, this time. It's been like that for a while. Chuck P was first in the chat. Tamava was next. Mr. Clean, Matthew W, Sporny, Swisslink 70, FizzFPV, or no, FizzPV rather. Uriel, Smoking Dog, Cujo, Borked Bits 70, Everyday with Bruno. Jamie Flies FPV, Crumbled FPV 70, Chris Mel, Mina FPV. I think I got everybody. What's up, friends? Thanks for coming. If you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV into your chat message. If you want to get somebody else's attention, type their name. Spell it right, and for that person, their own name will light up in orange. You can see what that looks like by just typing your own name into the chat, and then it'll light up in orange, and you'll be like, oh, that's why Ciotti only reads the messages that highlight in orange, because it's super obvious, and he can just quickly look at them and go, oh. Jamie Flies FPV says, oh, hi. Crumbled FPV says, yay, what's up? Yee, what's up? Jamie Flies says, built 2-inch Cinewhoop around the TuneRC Poly F405. It's a good AIO. Speedy BF405 40 amp is even better. And I want to try the new GetFPV AIO. I've heard so much good stuff about the TuneRC AIOs that I'm definitely going with those. Speedy B does make some really good stuff, and it's super cool that you've got Bluetooth on board to link up to the application on your phone. But I've heard that the TuneRC is the lowest noise, the most durable. This is going to be a freestyle build, so it's going to get the hell beaten out of it. So that is super important. And so, yeah, and I've been dying to try a TuneRC AIO for a while, so that'll be really cool. GetRC, I've had weird results with. I'm not gonna say GetRC is bad, but I've had some of their stuff blow up on me earlier than it should have blown up. So GetRC is kind of like second tier for me, but you know. I haven't run a ton of their gear, so it could just be coincidence. But, you know, you get burned like once or twice on a manufacturer, and it's like, well, let me try a bunch of other people. B-Mod Skipper says, hello, I had a chance to fly the HQ Micro Whoop 1.6 by 1.6 by 4 propellers, and I love the amount of grip from my 1002 2S Meteor 75. I bet it would be nice for your RC drifting. I actually do... more grip, the more grip, the less like slide that you can do, and so like the bi-blades are maybe a little bit too slidey. Tri-blades seem like they're perfect. I don't know about quad blades. I don't know those props though. 1.6 by 1.6 by 4. The hell's that? How do I not know that? Propeller. Oh, those old school ones. Okay. So my main problem with these propellers, I ran these ages ago. My main issue with these is the top of the hub is closed. So without drilling these out, you can't push them all the way down on the motor shaft. Which that ends up bending motor shafts because when the propeller sits up really high, it's a longer lever. And so, yeah, I did not like that about these. I did try drilling them out, and they were not balanced when I was done drilling them out. So, yeah, I kind of bailed on these. These are a little bit heavy. It's cool that they exist. But yeah, I tried these ages ago and I didn't have great luck with them. This is an older propeller. This is like a 4 or so year old propeller. B-Mud Skipper says, I grabbed a ton of props from Cinewhoop. These have a hole through the top. So mine had a tiny little hole on the top, but it wasn't big enough for the motor shaft to go all the way through. Are yours? Are yours drilled in a way that the... Yeah, see, like, there was a tiny little, there was a tiny little hole, but it wasn't big enough. Yeah, other than that, I was not super impressed with these. But if you want grip, 4 blades are going to do that. So yeah, or if you need more, if you have a lower kV motor and you need more power out of it, this prop is going to do it. The blades of the prop, it looks like, are 1.6 pitch, which is a lot, and then there's 4. So these will make a bunch of power. Uriel says, hello, nice evening. FizzPV says, got you again. Just Bright says, hey. Crumbled says, what could I use instead of Loctite? You could use Loctite. Why don't you want to use Loctite? There are other companies that make, like, for example, one of my favorite Joshua Bardwell videos of all time. Oh man, we might lose power. Power just did something weird. One of my favorite Joshua Bardwell videos of all time is the one where he like reviewed this Mercury Adhesives thread locker, which has a brush in the cap, which is super handy. I used all of the Mercury Adhesives Loctite that was in here, and then I've just been refilling this with regular Loctite, regular blue Loctite, which is the same kind of like medium strength, and I don't really notice a difference. So what's the deal with why don't you want to use Loctite? Tell me more. Swisslink says, yep, I don't like GetRC either. I've had 2 ESCs blow up on my Bind and Fly Maz 7. Yeah, I'm not going to say that like GetRC is bad, but they just seem like they're mid. Am I cool now that I've said mid a couple times? For those of you that don't know, mid is it's probably not popular anymore, but all the kids were saying mid. I hate everything. Bima, oh no, we got that. CMYK is in the house. What's up, brother? He says, what's up, Gangly Gang and CiottiFPV listening in the background. Benny Bravo says, if an AIO is running warmer with 32,500, would motor limiting down improve this? Warmer than what? You know what I mean? Like what is it? What is it warmer than? Yurio says, do your homework. You know what RTFM means. Well met. RTFM. That sounds familiar. Oh, right. Read the fucking manual. Yeah. Yeah, RTFM is a good one. All right. Let's get started. Let's dive in. The first website we're going to look at is... first thing we're going to do is see if I can find a TuneRC AIO in stock anywhere. So I think you have to buy them from but it says out of stock right there. I think you have to buy them from TuneRC. I don't know if there's any resellers, but we're gonna figure that out right now. So this is I searched for the Poly F405. I think that's the one that, hey, PyroDrone, nice. That's the one that goes up to 4S, I believe. But I am going to jump on the TuneRC's website first and foremost here and just take a look at all the different AIOs that they've got. But I'm pretty sure that this is the right one for me. So I'm just going to open up in a couple tabs here the different resellers that might have this stateside. And I'm probably about there, but let's just take a look here. BetaFPV, Goku, It looks like PyroDrone's the only spot that sells TuneRC in the US. That's super annoying. Okay, let me go back a couple times, and then I'm just going to leave this open here. All right, let's look at TuneRC's website. So I guess this is an older one because it just says Poly F405 2-4S AIO. There's no version number. And then this is version 1.2, and it looks like it is in stock. That's pretty cool. So really quickly on this tab here, let's go. Well, let's look at new arrivals. Oh yeah, right. They've got this bundle. I did see this, but All right, so they don't have a lot of stuff, which is fine. Store AIOs, flight controllers. Let's see what we got. Okay, bunch that are out of stock. I think those are older, and so it looks like it's just the Poly F405 or the Noodle. What in the world is this? Oh, 3 to 6S. Okay, yeah, we don't want this. All right, so we don't want to worry about that. So it looks like it's just the Poly F405. All right, that's totally cool. That makes the situation ultra easy. Just out of curiosity though, what else you got, TuneRC? Let me, if I just click store, it's gonna show me everything. So they got these bundles. Oh, this is pretty cool. An assorted screw bag. What do you got in your screw bag, bro? M1.6 by 6s. Those are not very long. M2 by 486. M2 by 20. There's nothing super exciting in here. That's less exciting than I thought. $2.20 though is good. If you don't have a lot of hardware and you're doing an order from TuneRC, snag this. It's always nice to have extra hardware. There's the canopy for their 3.5-inch frame. That's pretty slick. Oh, they've got an elrs receiver. That's pretty cool. Another screw bag. Frame stuff. B-Mud Skipper says, have you flown the HDLRC Petrol 75 Whoop V2 frame yet? Thoughts? I have not, because they manufactured it in a way that doesn't work with, it looks like any AIOs other than their own. So I put it back in the box, and it's just pretty much gone. Yeah, the ducts come in too far, and any AIO that I put in there fouls on the ducts. And so I'm just going to get another Mobula 8 frame and move on. So HDLRC fails again. Jamie says the V12 has better placement of the XT30 wires. Very cool. Very cool. Project Mockingbird's in the house. They've been hanging out over on the Discord as well in General Nonsense. We've been talking back and forth about some fun stuff. Project Mockingbird says, WeBleed just posted in Discord about a bunch of things going back in stock as we speak. Love that. Benny Bravo says, recently used the Hummingbird V4 flight controller on a 75mm rig with 802s. Runs hot now, shoots me the damn hot CAC warning. It's also on 45mm bi-blades. So first thing you want to do is get it off the bi-blades. Put it onto a different propeller. If you're on 45, well, if it's the GemFan 45mm bi-blades, that's your problem. They're out of balance. Get it over onto the HQ 45mm bi or tri-blades. First and foremost, make sure you've got balanced propellers on there. Then check your motor shafts to make sure those aren't bent. And what voltage and what kV motors. FizzPV says, my GetRC turn has stood up well considering I fly it like a freestyle, not the sub 250 long range. It's supposed to be. I've crashed the shit out of it. Nice. All right. Let's get back in here. There's the Noodle again. 1404 3600 kV motors. That kV is too low, really, for most stuff. So, oh wait, no, 1104 3600 kV. What the hell are those motors for? That is a super low kV for a really small motor. That's a really weird motor. Spare arm. There's the Poly F405. I think it's just the Poly F405 that we're really interested in here. Oh, 3.5 inch. That's what those motors must be for. But I mean, an 1104 with a 3.5 inch prop, that's gonna have awful response time. That's weird. That's a weird combination of motor size and kV right there. Frame. 1104 3600. Super strange. Super strange. I guess you would run them on a prop like this, like the Gemfan 3016 tri-blade. But boy, this is a heavy propeller for a little tiny 1104. Very odd. Okay, so TuneRC's website is where you buy the Poly F405 for $56.70. Are they? Where are they? Where are you, TuneRC? Come on, guys. If you're gonna have an About Us page, tell us where you are. That's the only reason that anybody goes to the About Us part of your website. I thought Facebook forced you to put your location in here. Does anybody know where TuneRC ships from? I'm going to assume it's overseas, but I would love to kind of confirm that. Oh, we only have 177 members. They must not post in there much. China. Okay. All right. So I'm probably not going to buy from their website in that case. What happened here? Let's take a look at PyroDrone. All right, $74. So what are we talking? 74 versus 56? Yikes. Let me see what the shipping comes up as from China. So it looks like with shipping, it comes up to $61.70. $61.70, and it'll take 100 days and nights to get here versus 74. And I might get nailed with Trump tariffs. So I'm going to get it from PyroDrone where I don't have to deal with Nazis. Cool. So I'm just going to leave this opened in my browser here as a reminder. Let's take a look. Here's the instruction manual. So it's 2 to 4S. That's perfect. I'm going to be kind of pushing it to its limit, but that's okay. I've heard really, really, really good things. I'm going to be running it on 4. Maybe I'll run it on 3S. I don't know. We'll see. Cool. Pretty good looking instruction manual they've got there. That's pretty rare. My FPV store has it for 71, but it's not in stock, of course. RDQ has it, and it's sold out, and it's 76 anyway. Cool. PyroDrone it is. That was easy. Kill this. I'm going to leave this open just in case I can't find it. All right. Good deal. We're done with the TuneRC website. Now we're going to head over to WeBleed. Hey, what's WeBleed putting back in stock? Let me try to find their... let me go to their group on the Facebook. See if I can find a post by WeBleed talking about putting stuff back in stock. All right. Not seeing anything right away. Let's go to Jeff's page. Looks like something going on at 8:30. Maybe I'll end this live stream a little bit early, and we can all head over here and watch this. Okay. I'm not seeing anything quickly, so let's just dive into his website. We'll see what's in stock. Hold on. Actually, let me get caught up on chat a little bit here. Fingers are healing. I don't even have a Band-Aid on this finger anymore. If you want to see, this is the finger that's really not all that bad. To give you some idea of how bad the other finger is, here's how bad this one is. I feel like I'm kind of okay showing you this one because it's not really that bad. I do not want to show you my pinky. It's absolutely vile. But yeah, this finger is like nowhere near as bad, and this is how bad it is, to give you some idea of how gnarly the other one is. But They're healing up. I'll be fine. Penny Bravo says it is the GemFan ByBlades. It's 1S 32,500 kV. Yeah, get those GemFan props off of there. The only 45mm props that are well balanced are the HQs. One of the reasons I don't like the 45mm prop builds is that we don't have a durable GemFan option and then a lightweight HQ option. We only have the lightweight HQ option. I'm still going to do it again on this Mobula 704, which I've kind of put back to stock just with a different motor. I am going to try it again, but I will not leave this 04 setup in this frame. You know, there's $120 04 light air unit and then another like $60 AIO and another $40 of motors on here. I don't want to have propellers that break at the hub when you look at them sideways and then I crash it on a rooftop or something like that and a propeller explodes and I can't take it back off. And so I have it back in this frame just to fly it again before I move it to a 2-inch frame again, just as another sort of point of reference because it's been a while since I've flown it on the smaller kind of setup. So yeah, it's not going to stay in there. Those are my thoughts on the 45mm propellers. Crumble.FPV says, which props do you recommend for the Air 75? For durability, GemFan 1610s. For the best flight performance, the HQ Ultralight, either biblade or triblade, depending on the KV of the motor, depending on what you want. More grip versus more efficiency, basically. Just get them all. Just get all three of those propellers, run them all, and see which ones you like best. You'll spend like $10 getting all those propellers. Maybe we'll see those propellers on a couple of these websites that we're about to jump on. I'm having to like weirdly deprogram. For the last week, I've been really trying hard to keep these two fingers like tucked in here. And so like I'm doing everything here. And so there's this like weird thing happening with my hand where like, I don't know if you can see it. See that like little pop that's happening here? It's hard to kind of see, but I can feel it. It's because I've like deprogrammed these two fingers to kind of move around. So I'm like I'm forcing myself to kind of like open my hand normally again. So if you see me doing like weird shit, that's kind of what I'm doing. But it's been good. It's fine. But it's just weird. Like when I open my hand, there's this like strange little pop that happens as like these two fingers like come back online because I've been. The human body is something else, man. It is something else. B-Mod Skipper says, TuneRC, according to his website, ships products from a warehouse in China, while the company's website lists a Washington, United States address on Zoom info. They're shipped from China. Thank you, dude. Islander FPV says, yo, I just did a custom 65mm Pro build with the NewbieDrone V4, Hummingbird V4, Runcam Nano 7. Flies great, but no OSD, even set to NTSC or PAL. Does this mean I have to run a BI camera? I know NewbieDrone... weird with OSD. That's super strange. It shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. I mean, the camera is either NTSC or PAL, and it just dumps video into the AIO. There shouldn't be anything. There should be no reason that you have to run the NewbieDrone camera. That's super weird. My first troubleshooting step would be to put the BI camera back onto it and see if you magically get OSD back. I don't think you will. Try NTSC and PAL again. Try that one more time, just to make sure that it's saved properly. Sometimes the OSD, when you hit save, it won't actually save. It acts kind of weird. So try the NTSC PAL thing again. That's weird, brother. That's super weird. B Mud Skipper says, "Hey, what will you put that flight controller into?" Curious. I've worked on a 3-inch frame over the last 5 years with a bunch of different people. This is the current version of it that Ryan Harrell has designed for me, and what I realized that this frame was initially designed for analog, and so it's small. It's a very, very, very small frame. The body is absolutely tiny. It was initially designed for 20 by 20 only, with an itty bitty like nano analog VTX in the back that you can zip tie down through these little supports here. What I realized a week or two ago is that I can do a 25 by 25 AIO and then stack up an 04 lite on top. And I mean, I think there's going to be a bunch of props in view because we designed it to be squished X rather than like dead cat or anything like that. And the chin is kind of tucked in here. This was designed to be super, super, super durable. But yeah, with an 04 lite, this could be unbelievably cool. And so I finally have kind of a fire under my ass to actually get this thing built and see what it's like. And there's kind of nothing like this. There's really nothing like this available at the moment. So this could be pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of the deal. The top plate is also drilled with 20 by 20 or 25 by 25, but we shouldn't need to use that. So yeah, we'll see. Should be really cool. And it's split base plate, which is super neat. That'll give some extra space for the 04 camera, or the lens thing, the wide angle lens thing. But I mean, that would just give a ton of props in view. What I am kind of interested in, that wide angle lens thing, if it fits. Apparently, if you take that wide angle lens thing and rotate it 90 degrees, it gives you a bunch of vertical field of view, which then works really well for Instagram. So I might try that with it. I don't know if it's gonna fit though. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I'm getting that TuneRC AIO for. CMYK says, yo, it's Friday, so that WeBleed thing was yesterday. What, putting stuff back in stock, I guess? Benny Bravo says, thanks, brother. You're certainly welcome. FizzPV says, not too bad there. Healing good. Make sure you do stretching in the joints. Yeah, that's also why I'm doing this. It's completely fine, though. I mean, it's totally okay. It's only been a week. Part of why mine isn't straight is because the skin's too short, right? Brad Anderson says, I've been using BetaFPV's 45mm tries, a little heavy but durable. I think those are just the Gem Fan. BetaFPV 45mm, let's see. Yeah, so those are Gem Fan. So if you go to the HQ 45mm props, you'll get they're a lot better balanced. But yeah, the BetaFPVs are made by Gem Fan. They're also very heavy. The HQ 45mm props are way lighter. Crumbled FPV says, that wouldn't have happened if you had a whoop. Indeed. CMYK says, WeBleed just landed huge shipments in today. BetaFPV, newbie drone, new style, prop poppers, new whoopster. Wow. Still loading items in the store as we speak. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so let's take a look. So this is WeBleed allows you to click here, and then there's this very first option, which I love, which is everything, and it's newest to oldest. So this is just like, a new product section, but it is cool because it has like everything, all 286 products. Let me close the door. The dog is going to be going completely bananas because they're working on the house still. Share live stream. Engage. All right. Oh, there it is. Jeff just posted on my Discord. Just landed huge shipments in today. BetaFPV newbie drone. There it is. Got it. I got it. I'm the last one to see things as usual. BetaFPV Air 65 version 2 frame. 292 are in stock. If you're doing a WeBleed order, you should get at least one of these frames. You might only need one because the damn thing is so durable that I don't think you're going to hurt it. So, yeah, if you're doing an order, definitely snag one of these frames. I'm super impressed with it. It is the perfect mix of like durability and lightweight. It's not quite as lightweight as the newbie drone Lite AF. But it's more durable, I believe. And then it's lighter than the Cockroach 65 V3, but it doesn't have the hooks on the front, and maybe it's less durable. It's probably just as durable. I don't know. The Cockroach 65 V3 is... look, you should have all three. You should have the Lite AF frame, you should have the Cockroach 65 V3, and you should have this frame, and then run them all, see which ones you like the best. Put the Lite AF frame on first because it's the lightest, and when it breaks, then switch over to this one, which is a little bit heavier. And then if you want to do a rig with the batwing mount, how do I not have one? There's one over here. If you want to do like a cinematic build with no ducts in view, with my batwing mount, which you can buy on my Etsy store, linked over on CiottiFPV.com, or you can just grab the STL file and print it yourself from my Discord. Yeah, Cockroach 65 V3 frame is the way to go. God forbid they discontinue the Cockroach 65 V3 frame, or change the design and there's no hooks on it. You should probably buy a couple Cockroach 65 V3 frames. They're cheap. You'll have them. You know, they're the coolest way to mount a camera all the way up front, nice and securely. So do it. B-Bird says, I've not had good luck with the V3 frame. How so? I've been pounded on the V3 frames since they were prototypes, and I've had unbelievably good luck with them. Swisslink says the wide-angle lens is 18 by 18. Wow, it might actually work then. Very cool. Crumbled FPV says, what do you think of the DJI N3 as an entry level into digital FPV? I don't really know anything about them. I didn't watch any of the reviews because I've no interest in them. Joshua Bardwell probably has a review on them. If he doesn't, Ian Mads Tech should have a review on them. Watch those reviews, and that's how you want to make your mind up. I've never seen them. I don't know anything about them. I'm not the right guy to ask. Nobody sends me anything. I don't really have the budget to like buy all the new stuff. But lots of good reviews that you can trust from either Joshua or Ian. So yeah. B-Bird, when you got that, B-Bird says I break them a lot. How many, and like what's the build? Is it like a 40-gram build and that's why they're breaking? We need more. Bolilo TV says, did you ever do a batwing for the Cockroach 75? Not for the Cockroach 75, but for the Mobula 7V4 frame. There is a batwing-ish mount that Timmons made. It is... Here it is. So it doesn't look like a batwing at all. It should not be called a batwing mount because it doesn't look like a batwing at all. But it sits like this. It's got two screw holes for the Runcam Nano or the FXT or the the Nano 7 or 8, whatever the hell, no, any of the cameras that have the little holes up in the corners that you can mount on the old school Mobula 6 ball sack frame are going to work in this mount. And then it's just got a hole here that connects up to the front mounting point of your flight controller, and then it just like nestles right into the, this is the wrong frame for it, but to give you some idea, it just kind of sits in there like that. Oh wow, it almost fits in this frame. I'll be damned. It makes sense. This is a happy model frame. But yeah, it sits there like that, and then you put 2 screws into the camera. So yeah, this will be on the website at some point. I'm slowly getting stuff added to the Etsy store. If you want one of these, just order one of the other mounts on my Etsy store, and then just leave a note that and let me know what color you want and that you want the 75mm batwing mount. Cool. Okay. What else has WeBleed got? New hat? Droplet snapback hat? I'm not a hat guy. Air 75 version 2. I'm kind of interested to test this. I wonder if this is any good. But it's for 1S only, and so I kind of don't care. The 75mm 1S rigs, I'm pretty much over. I'm just done with. The 2S is just so much better. And then it looks like this is the Air 65 V2, but in the other colors, the non-WeBleed red colors. The WeBleed red is pretty hot. Tiny Who shirt. WeBleed Shady J shirt. Tiny Who jersey. I don't like these prop poppers. These bend every single time I try to use them. So I in my opinion, don't get one of those. You probably have one floating around anyway. Look at this, the grappler. That's pretty cool. This is a different prop popper design. Huh. Nothing wrong with that, man. That's going to be a lot easier to get onto the propeller, right? The other prop poppers, one of the issues is that it's hard to get the little forks in between the propeller and the motor bell. This, you're just going to loop these around the blades of the propeller and then just pop it straight up. So this is actually a really smart kind of design. Very cool. The grappler. I like it. Say hello to the grappler. All right, all right. I dig it. elrs light receiver with the flat antenna from BetaFPV. It's version 1.2. Version 1, the original one of these had a horrible range. So I don't know about this. It's I think this is what came with one of the rigs that they sent me recently, and it worked. No, so so the Newbie Drone Race V2 has this same flat antenna on it, and it seems to actually work okay. So in theory, they've fixed the range thing, but I'm a little bit gun shy of this, to be totally honest. I don't know if I can really recommend this. The regular ones with the ceramic tower antenna are fine. I'm trying to get a weight on this. Wow, 0.46 of a gram. Oh, but see, look, 0.46 of a gram with the flat antenna, 0.47 of a gram with the tower antenna. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, $12 is pretty cheap. Whatever. It's a tiny little ELRS receiver. I would not like prioritize this over any of the other ones, just because it's got the flat antenna. I guess it'll be a little bit easier to mount it somewhere because it doesn't have that tall ceramic antenna, but like whatever. So like, yeah, that's the reason to buy this. If you have an infinitely small little spot where you want to mount this, yeah, it's going to be ever so slightly thinner. WeBleed LipoSafe bag. I absolutely love this. if you're doing an order from WeBleed, snag one of these. It's really nice to have a bunch of lipo-safe bags floating around. This one looks like it's relatively small, judging by the batteries sitting there. So yeah, if you don't have a bunch of lipo-safe bags already, get this one. And then the next time you do an order on a website and they have a lipo-safe bag, buy it. And then the next time you do an order on a website and they have a lipo-safe bag, buy it. At some point, you'll have like a half a dozen of the damn things, and you'll have them in all different sizes and shapes. And that's amazing, because then you'll figure out like, oh, look, all my 4S batteries fit perfectly in this one. Great. And then you've got that one. And then you've got another one. And then you'll be like, well, I've got this extra one. What am I going to do with this extra one? Well, I fly up by the back door. Let me put it up by the back door so that if I ever, like, you know, need a spot to put a battery and it's safe, I'll have one up there. If you've got lipo-safe bags next to your desk, next to your charger, next to the back door, there's one in your car, there's no excuse to ever put one of these death machine lipo batteries on carpet or on wood or on something that could catch on fire. And so every single time you have a lipo, it's in a Kevlar fire-safe bag, and God forbid one of them ever explodes, it's totally safe. This is one of the easiest, best ways to not burn your house down or your car down. Just start buying these lipo-safe bags every time you do an order. Every single website has like at least one of these lipo-safe bags in stock, and so just start buying them and just have a whole bunch of them. They're a great thing to have a bunch of extras of floating around. GemFan 35mm S, 35mm propellers. These are my favorite for 1mm motors on the Meteor 65 Pro frames. This prop is a part of what I do think is the best freestyle Cinewhoop build. I'm going to do a video one of these days, but I got to wait for my hand to be totally 100% about like 2025 ultimate freestyle build, because yeah, for like raw freestyle, I think these bigger props, slightly bigger props on 702s on the Meteor 65 Pro frame is the way to go with a lightweight AIO. They also sell them in tri-blade, but if you're going to get the tri-blade 35mm prop, it might as well be the HQ ultralight one, because it's going to be lighter and potentially better balanced. Although I haven't had a balance issue with either of these GemFan 35s, so that's good. VCI version 2 0702 motors. Apparently these are pretty good. I'm happy with the Happy Model 0702s. They give me plenty of power, plenty of runtime, so I'm not running out to spend $43 on a set of these VCI motors. If one of you guys tells me that they're God's gift to motors and they're way better than the Happy Models, maybe I'll do it, but yeah, Happy Model motors rule. WeBleed MoFPV tree toppers 0802 32500, really cool. If you're gonna do a 1S 75mm build, this would be the motor to go with. It's not enough power or efficiency for me, and so I've gone to 2S on 75, and I'm loving the fact that you gain practically no weight and you get everything else improves basically. So these are not the motors for me, but if you've got a bunch of 1S 450 mAh batteries that you don't want to sell and you want to do a 75mm 1S build, this is an awesome option. Humminbird V4 Bind and Fly. I did an entire review live stream on that. Shockingly good. I now have this AIO and a toothpick, believe it or not, that doesn't fly all that great. Newbie Drone VR drone. This is like a beginner's kind of thing. Don't really know anything about it. BetaFPV Air flight controller, the 5-in-1 and the 4-in-1. I'm having a real, and then here's the Air flight controllers are the lightweight ones, and then the Matrix is the heavier, more durable option. I can't really recommend any of these. I don't know what the deal is with BetaFPV and VTXs, but I've got builds with all three of these, and the VTXs are such a pain in the ass. They go full rainbow when you crash. like every 3 or 4 crashes, and you have to unplug it and plug it back in. I think the Matrix is now starting to do all kinds of other weird stuff. It's flashing. So yeah, these AIOs work for a little while, but then the VTXs are totally the weak link. For me, it's the Happy Model Mobula 6 2024 AIO. That one doesn't have any problems that I've kind of seen. Meteor 75 Pro, yeah, okay. This is like one of the best flying 75mm 1S rigs, but still, it's only 1S, and you should go 2S for 75. It's absolutely mind blowing. HD0 box goggles. Apparently these are awesome. The Lux camera mount. I can't find a home for the. This is also the camera mount that I had on the Lux camera, like on the 3rd crash when it scratched the lens. So, yeah, I don't know. But that's really racing only. Flywoo ultra lightweight whip antennas. They're not that much lighter than a regular whip antenna. You've probably got 15 regular whip antennas floating around. So I don't know. If you need a whip antenna, these seem to be fine, but like $10.50 is a bit much. It is a 5-pack though, so they work. They totally work. If you don't have whip antennas pouring out of your ears like I do, there's nothing wrong with these. 5-volt BEC. If you need it, you'll know. Fractal frames, you guys know what I think about them. They don't really do anything better than plastic frames in a lot of experience that I've had with them. I tried really, really, really hard to make fractal frames work. And then one by one, I moved those rigs onto regular plastic frames, and the power output, the amount of thrust that they made, and the efficiency went up. And I got to use camera mounts that held the camera straight. So not a fan, but if you just want to be different for the sake of being different, sure, there you go. There's a way to do it. But you're going to lose flight performance, you're going to lose runtime, and you're going to have a camera that doesn't really point straight forward, which is maddening. HD0 Halo flight controller. I don't really know anything about this, but if you're into HD0, you probably do. RunCam Nano 7. So this, it appears, has replaced the FXT camera that came with the Mobula 6 2024. I have one of these. I have not had a chance to test it yet. I will on one of these live streams. Tonight would have actually been a perfect night to test that. Mobula 7 V4 frame. This is the frame that the batwing I showed you a minute ago works on. It's one of the best 75mm frames, but 1S only. So I'm not really interested in any more. This is really cool. I really love that WeBleed does this. 802 1.5mm motor shaft, bell only. Really, really, really cool that Zotac sells just the bell. This is great. Really, really, really cool. This will also this is the EX bell, the lighter weight EX bell. So if you have a set of 802s, if you have a set of Happy Model 802s on the heavier, bigger bell, you can swap them out to this bell. These will work on any Happy Model 0802 stator. So if you want to move from a 1mm motor shaft to a 1.5mm motor shaft, here you go. Or if you want to do a lighter bell and you want to have a lighter 802 motor, again, this is the way to do it. Very, very cool. And look, Jeff has 1,450 of these in stock. So for the love of God, buy some of these, motherfuckers. Convert your 802s over to be lighter weight and 1.5mm motor shaft. There you go. HQ ultralight 40mm tri-blades. These are great. A little bit fragile, but super well balanced. And just an awesome propeller. NewbieDrone Caddx Nano Ant for the BLV5. That's interesting. So this is a Caddx Ant with the NewbieDrone / BetaFPV style plug on it. This is like a JST 0.8 or some weird ass plug. I don't particularly like the Caddx Nano Ant camera. I don't like any of the Caddx Ant cameras, but a bunch of people do. So if you like the Ant and you don't want to have to dick around with switching the camera plug out, there you go. Plug and play, baby. BetaFPV micro air canopy. These are the ones that I broke 2 of when I was durability testing the Air 65 V2 frame. This canopy is okay, but it's not great. It's cool. There's a bunch of different colors. Oh, this is actually a 6-pack with 1 of each color. That's why it's 18 bucks. Yeah, this canopy is okay. It's good that it's sold in a 6-pack because you are going to break them. They're not that bad though. They're not that fragile. If you crash super hard, you can absolutely break one. But again, they're pretty good. Here are the new HQ Ultralight 1.4 inch propellers. These are great. What's the difference? Oh, 1.5 millimeter motor shaft here, 1 millimeter motor shaft here. Another set of the HQ Ultralight 1.6s. And then here's the newish HQ Ultralight biblades, 1.2 by 1.2 by 2. These are great. Micro Vs. Jeff has Micro Vs in a shorter length, which is 3.5 centimeters. So from Jeff, you can get your ORT Micro V in 3.5 centimeters or 5 centimeters. And then from my Etsy store, you can get them in 4.6 centimeters. So 3 different lengths of ORT Micro V. My favorite Cinewhoop antenna at the moment. Absolutely love it. I had them made in 4.6 because that's like the absolute perfect length for when you use them with like a full-size canopy like this. And I also had ORT extend the shrink wrap here a little bit so that you can like tuck the shrink wrap into the canopy a little bit, which just sort of holds the antenna a little bit better. And so, yeah, 4.6 is like the perfect length, in my opinion, for most setups with some kind of a canopy like this. The old school ball sack canopy, or this is the 04 canopy. Yeah, the 4.6 is awesome. The 5 millimeter will absolutely work. It'll just stick out a little bit farther. You won't be able to tuck the shrink wrap into the hole in the canopy. 3 millimeters is not going to work with a canopy like this. The 3 millimeter antennas you would run on like a cinematic build like this, where you're just trying to keep it as short as you possibly can. I actually, next time I do a WeBleed order, I'm going to get one of those. Oh wait, no, I did. I got it on my last, the last WeBleed order I did. I got one of the little 3 millimeter ones. So this would be perfect for this build here. But I've got this E6000 down right now, so I won't change it. But yeah, nice to have different antenna lengths. It does matter. Let me get caught back up on chat real quick. FPV says, I just got a care package from WeBleed today. I picked up that grappler. I'll let you know how it goes. Awesome. Love that. Dave S says, those elrs light receivers look pretty slick. They're totally fine. They're totally fine. For me, if I'm buying a tiny little elrs receiver, it's going to be a Radio Master or a Happy model, because they've had the best history with getting them tuned properly. But by this point, they're probably all totally fine. But for me, you know, I'm going to get a Radio Master. It's going to be $2 more, but I trust them. Uriel says, it's for mine, free something from Emacs. What's that mean? FPV says, picked up 2 Air version 2 frames. Probably going to swap the Fractal into one and put the AIO 5, put my AIO 5 into the other. Dude, can you do me a favor if you're going to be doing that? Can you get some run times with it in the Fractal and then move it over and then get some run times so that there's more than just me saying, look, you get more runtime. Can you be a second source? Crumbled F, if not, it's totally cool. But Crumbled FPV says, during the propeller change on my Air 75, the motor shaft broke. Should I replace the 23,000 kV motor or buy completely different motors? If you want more power, you can get motors that are higher kV to do that. If the motor shaft broke, that is a surefire sign that you pushed a propeller on there way too hard. What you should do to keep that from happening again is go to my Etsy store and get yourself a set of 1.46 and 0.99 millimeter drill bits and start drilling out your Cinewhoop props. That'll prevent that from happening. You're going to spend $10 on those 2 drill bits. You now have to spend $10 on a replacement motor. So yeah, don't waste another $10 on another replacement motor because most propellers are not drilled out, they are not molded in the exact right dimension, and that forces you to have to push them onto the motors too hard, and then yeah. The BetaFPV 0802, sorry, 23,000 kV motors are totally fine. It is a little bit of a lower kV though, and so yeah, if when you had that rig together it flew fine and you had enough power, then you're good to go. If you felt like it didn't have enough power, then you can get like an 802 25,000 or 27,000, or even those new tree toppers, which are 32,500. So if you want more power, completely different motors. If you love the amount of power that it had, just replace that one. You Can FPV says, I like how CiottiFPV recommended them too. WeBleed says, did somebody say my name? Hello, gangly gangers. What's up, Zotac? How are you, brother? What are you? We're going through your website. What are you putting back into stock that's out of stock? That's way too open-ended of a question. If something is out of stock on the WeBleed website, it's probably going to go back in stock over the next couple of days. Bine and flies, he says. Okay, cool. You Can FPV says, I don't know if it'll be a great comparison. The motors on it are super rough. I'm swapping the same motors on, but they'll be brand new. Okay, don't even worry about it then. That's an unfair comparison. BetaFPV and WeBleed. Okay, very cool. So lots of stuff going back in stock at WeBleed. That's super awesome. If you need Cinewhoop stuff, this is really like my favorite spot. They've got so much cool shit. So that's page 1 of WeBleed's website. We're not going to go through all 6 pages, but there you go. Moving on to WeBleed. Did I say WeBleed a second ago? I meant to say WeBleed. You Can FPV says, I could put the new motors on it and then swap it all over. I mean, if you want to do that, that'd be amazing. But don't feel like you have to, because we don't need the proof. Like, anybody that doesn't believe me is just wrong. Like, just do it for yourself. It just is what it is. If you've got a motor and a propeller and you put more shit downwind of that motor and propeller, it's going to make less thrust and it's going to be less efficient. If you're going to try to fight me on that, you're an idiot and just go away. So we don't really need to test it. But there are so many people that, because they're in a different camp politically, choose to try to say that everything that I say is wrong, and it's just so unbelievably dumb. WeBleed's website always has some cool stuff. If you go into all products, if you click all products, it's going to do the same thing. It orders them from newest to oldest, and the newest thing on the WeBleed website is a Flywoo sticker sheet. Very exciting, for 99 cents. I love it. Flywoo now has a BT 2.0 charger. The ViFly chargers are so good, and ViFly is a really cool company, so I'll stick with the ViFly. Also, this doesn't have a little screen on it. That's kind of silly. You don't really need the screen, but it's fine. Oh, they have a 2S version. That's pretty cool, but it doesn't have BT 3.0. Don't get the 2S version. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, I guess if you're doing an order somewhere that doesn't have the ViFly charger and it only has this, you can snag this. But support ViFly, man. They make really good stuff. They're the only ones that make like a proper smoke stopper, and so like I'll support the shit out of them for that. Flywoo Firefly 18, and then the Firefly 16. This is probably about the cheapest way of getting an 04, an 04 Lite, and boy, am I tempted. Boy, am I tempted to get one of these two. And I would just like do a review of it and then rip it apart for the 04 Lite, because I do need an extra 04 Lite and they are impossible to find. But this says pre-order, so that kind of sucks. These prop guards here are completely and utterly worthless. The first crash will break them. So this is a toothpick. It's probably pretty good. Nothing wrong with it. It looks like it's 1S only. I take it back. Don't get it. You want 2S. 1S is for 65mm ultra lightweight tiny whoops only. Anything bigger than that and you want 2S. I'm trying to see if the AIO will take 2S. It's not looking like it will. If the AIO in this is 1S to 2S, then this thing is a maybe. But don't do this on 1S. Don't do that to yourself. You deserve better. Goku F405, here we go. 1S only, don't buy those. Newbie Drone, why have you joined the pop-up club? You're better than that. 1S only, there it is. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of silly. For that kind of a rig, it's silly. For 50 bucks, well, yeah, you know, this is our other 1S option. Wait a second. What the fuck? Why is the USB port on one side and the motor plugs are on the other? No. Don't buy that. Don't buy these. That's ridiculous. Don't do it. Newbie Drone just put out this wacky AIO. Look at this thing. What's weird about this thing? Good Lord! What in tarnation is going on here? They posted about this on their Instagram, and I left a comment, and I said, what the hell is this about? I really like, something that I actually do really like is they put some sort of like an epoxy or an E6000 or something to strengthen this up, and I love that, but whoa, what the hell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 pin plug header. So that's either for them to flash it with, or you can put multiple plugs into these plug headers. You have to modify the plug a little bit, but maybe this is like one big plug and like the right 4 pins are for one thing, and you know, like UART1 on the right, UART2 in the middle, UART3 on the left, that kind of thing. It's a little sketchy to do that, and you have to modify the plugs, but it is totally doable. I've never seen anybody do that before, which is kind of wild. I believe this is the HD VTX plug header here. Interesting kind of setup with the power leads on one side. They made this for a specific frame that they've got, and so it's an interesting kind of setup with the motor ins and outs on left and right lined up like this, and then the USB next to that guy, and then the battery leads here. Usually you'll have like USB on one side and then the battery leads and the plug headers on the other two sides. So there's probably somebody has a build that this would be perfect for. This layout would be perfect for. And so this is really cool that this exists and that we have this. What I don't like about this is you've got a big thick plug header here, and then you've got another big thick plug header here. So this is not an AIO that you're going to be able to slam really low. You're going to have some good clearance on the bottom and on the top, because you've got these plug headers on either side. I usually like when an AIO has all of its plug headers on one side and then the other side of it is relatively flat, so you can slam it really low. But there, like I said, there's a build that somebody has a build that this is absolutely perfect for, because of the different kind of setup. So this is great. This is great that this exists in the world. But yeah, it looks like it's got double 2 amp 10 volt Bex, which is pretty cool. So yeah, super interesting AIO. There it is, reinforced sockets with adhesive glue. I like that a lot, man. They're thinking, they're listening to feedback. Wow, 50, I didn't realize that. 50 amp with a 60 amp burst rating. Jesus Christ. That's wild. There you go. This is the build that it's for. So yeah, super interesting AIO. What else you got for us, Newbie Drone? SpeedyBee Master 3X modular frame. So this is one of these SpeedyBee frames that's got this funky little like front shuttle thing that you can take out. So this is where your 04 air unit goes, and the camera mounts in there. So you set it up on a plug header, and then you unplug your 04, you take this front bit out, and then you can drop it into either another one of this same frame, or there's a Cinewhoop style frame that also accepts that. Really cool. I really like, yeah, there it is. There's the front like little sled thing. That's pretty slick, yo. If you did a build like this, you could build like 2 or 3 of this part here with the motors and the ESC and the flight controller, and then just have one front sled with the 04 and the camera. That'll save you a ton of money. And you go out and you fly, and when you break an arm or a motor, you pull the VTX and camera out. You pull the sled out, drop it into your next one, fly it, smash it, pull it out, drop it into the next one. Really, really cool. I actually really do like this design. Whether or not it's durable, I have absolutely no idea. But if they can do this and have it be durable and have no other issues, that's pretty slick. Really, really, really cool kind of thing to do. Looks like they're recommending a 1507. That's a terrible idea. Yeah, there it is. There's the Cinewhoop one, right? The B25. So that's neat. That's a neat way of doing that. I like that a lot. Again, absolutely no idea if it's durable. So you're on your own in that respect. Some of the WeBleed stuff. HD0 AIO 15, very cool. Not for me, but for somebody this is awesome. For racers, this is great. Oh, the new R lines, very cool. So Chris Rosser just tested this 6S 1600 version 6 R-line battery, and apparently, judging by the thumbnail, it did really, really well in his testing, so that's great. This is a hell of a big-ass battery. I kind of can't believe that racers are running batteries that are this heavy, but hey, this is a battery that I would use for, like, long range, and I might actually get one of these for the death machine that chopped me all up. It doesn't look like there's any weights, which is super annoying. There wasn't a weight on that one. There is, whoa, there is a weight on this one. 220 grams, that's pretty heavy. But yeah, I mean, all these giant 6S batteries are going to be pretty heavy, right? Like 6S 1480 mAh, that's a ton of mAh. So that might actually not be a terrible weight. DJI Neo ND filters, that's interesting. The Neo uses the 04 Lite camera and VTX setup, but they do have like a different housing on the camera with the Neo. So these will not work with the 04 Lite, and not many of you guys probably have the Neo, so this is pretty specific kind of thing. DJI 04 Pro Air Unit Camera Butter ND filters. I have the ND8 and ND16, and I just did a camera butter order a little bit earlier today, and I got 2 of the just lens protector things. These are apparently really good. Camera butter makes really good stuff, so these are awesome. Deep Space Aether 1404 4600 kV. That's a great kV. 1404s in 4600 kV will work really well with 4S on 3-inch, even 2.5-inch propellers. It's going to be a bit much for 3.5-inch propellers, but that's okay. You could drop down to 3S maybe at that point. But yeah, 4600 kV is a really good kV for a 1404. So this is cool. There aren't many 1404s with that high of a kV. So this is great to have another option. All that being said, T-Motor makes a 4600 kV 1404 that outperforms all of the other 1404s. Other than this one, this is so new that it hasn't been tested against it. So for me, just get the T-Motor 1404. But if you want to try something different or you're doing an order on Newbie Drone, this motor might be okay. CMYK says, you heard of clover frames yet? I think I have. Yeah, they were the ones that did the cage thing first, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah, they did this cage, probably not first, but they did it earlier. I haven't heard anything about these. The main question mark with doing this is how the hell do you mount something that's going to weigh 50-ish grams to a quad and not have it like rattle itself to death, right? Like you're going to have to mount it with some kind of hardware. So how do you use hardware that's not over time going to like loosen up and then this thing rattles in there? Also, how do you mount it in a way that when you bash your quad into a brick wall at 56 miles an hour, it doesn't explode? So that's the huge question mark for me. If you're thinking about doing one of these modular systems, hopefully you either don't crash or you can find someone that has crashed them a bunch to give you some feedback, some durability feedback, because that's a massive question mark with any of these. So just keep that in mind. It's a great idea, though. Really, really, really good idea. Bunch of bind and flies. I don't care. GetRC 1.8-inch frame. Kind of interesting, I guess. It's a solid base plate, so it can go to hell. DJI N3 MIPI cable. If you need it, you need it. Hummingbird V2 AIO. This is what comes with the new Hummingbird Race. It uses this little silly removable dongle thing, which is kind of annoying if I'm honest, but other than that, it's one less thing to break off the board. So if you're a hardcore racer, this is pretty awesome. Radio Master. Oh, a trainer module. No way. A wireless trainer module. Now that's pretty cool. Pretty specific kind of audience for something like this, but this is really cool that this exists. If you don't know what a trainer setup is that you hook two transmitters together, the main and then the trainer, and the trainer controller, you can have somebody that's learning to fly FPV fly, and then if they get in trouble on your main transmitter, you just take over. Like you just start flying and it just overrides the trainer module. Usually you have to do that with a cable. This does it wirelessly. That's pretty cool. If you're going to teach somebody to fly FPV, this is going to be fantastic for that, because you can just let them have at it, right? Like you don't even have to like get them in the simulator. You can just take them outside and be like, go ahead, start flying. And then every time they're about to wreck, you take over, get it, safe again. And then you come off the sticks and they fly again. So you can very quickly just bounce back and forth. You don't have to like wait. You don't have to disarm. No bullshit. You can just jump in, and away you go. Moss One says those tiny Who shirts are pretty cool. Okay, looks like I'm good to go. In the chat, really cool wireless trainer setup. Awesome. They're gonna sell like 20 of those, but for those 20 people, they're gonna absolutely love them. They'll sell more than 20 because military. All right, so that's the full first page of the newbie drone stuff. Let's move on to PyroDrone here. Oh, Swiss Links put some pictures in the Discord of the wide angle lens, horizontal versus vertical. So that's horizontal. You're not gonna let me go to the next image? Oh, Jesus Christ! Really? I have to click out of this image to go into the other one? What the shit? Hold on. Save image. Oh my god, please. Save image. Okay. And then we'll just come in here. And we can just bounce back and forth. Oh, wow. It doesn't give you any extra vertical field of view. It just takes away horizontal field of view. I don't know why. Somebody did it and like posted it on Instagram, and I was like, oh, that's super smart. That's really slick. And I just didn't think about it. I didn't think about the fact that that's just not gonna work. So yeah, cool. You just saved me some money because I don't want it for regular horizontal. It's too fucking funny. It just chops off the left and right. Of course it does. Of course it does, because it's a lens in front of a lens. So it's not, yeah. Thank you for that, Swiss Links. Super, super helpful. All right, PyroDrone, what do you guys got in stock? Anything? AIO 15, there you go. Air 65 V2 frame and the 75 V2, very cool. There's the BetaFPV HD ready 1S AIO, very cool. $51. If you want to do a 1S 65mm 04 build, this is the AIO. I think this is the only... No. There's that new white Flywoo AIO that seems like it seems okay. But look, we know this one. I've got hundreds of batteries through this, and it's held up. So just get this one. Don't get the shiny new white one that, for all you know, could last 5 batteries and then blow up. This is a known quantity. Just get this one. It's $51. BetaFPV Pavo 20 2.2 inch. I'm so annoyed that they've done yet another propeller size that I'm not even going to look at it. GNB 1350 MAH 6S. Let's see what it weighs. Is it high volt? No. Not high volt. What do you weigh? 235 grams. That seems kind of heavy. The Tattoo R lines are usually lighter than the GNBs. Nothing wrong with the GNBs, but yeah, Tattoo R lines are usually pretty much the same price, and they'll be a little bit lighter. SpeedyBee Mario 5. I don't care. Bunch more I'm just not into buying and flies. Collective pitch helis. Look at this. Here's a great way to waste a whole bunch of your money and just crash all the time and hate your life. BetaFPV terrible analog goggles. I was about to say sorry for being such a jerk, but it's, you know, this is what you guys come here for. 4S 1550 MAH battery. It's been a long time since someone's put out a new 4S battery. 181 grams. I don't know. I don't know, but the Dogcom batteries seem like they're fine. I don't know. It's a battery. Happy Model M8 out of stock. That's a shame. This maybe looks like a Brain 3D 04 mount. Maybe not. Maybe they're printing them themselves. That's pretty cool. Standoff spacing 15 to 25, 25 to 35. That's pretty slick. A Secure ESC. That's interesting. Secure is a company that's been making knockoff T100 soldering irons. And I have one. It's fine. I barely ever use it, but when I plug it in, it gets hot. Deep Space FPV Seeker 3-inch. Oh, this is what those 1404 motors are for. Very cool. This looks pretty all right. Look at that little GPS up front here. That's kind of slick. That's the plug is on the back, so like you mount your battery and then you nose this thing into the concrete. The battery is going to hammer itself into this plug and probably break it. So it's kind of an interesting spot to put a GPS, but they should have put some extra TPU to protect that plug. So that's a little bit rough. I'm not a big fan of having this. So you've now got a situation where only specific batteries are going to fit between this and between this. And I don't really like that. It's super convenient to have the plug here. But it's a little bit of a waste of space. You can see the battery leads have to go back here, right? So yeah, I don't know. Not my favorite, but could be worse. Could be HDLRC. Come on, that was a fucking good one. Swisslink says, do mind the Flywoo AIO does not have a BEC. BEC is separate. Oh, well, definitely don't get that Flywoo AIO then. That's stupid. What the hell? Yeah, definitely don't get that. That's ridiculous. I'm trying to see if this has removable arms or if it's a solid base plate. It does have removable arms. So that's great. I actually really like that. I don't know anything about it. It might blow up the first time you crash it. You know, what's this company called? DeepFPV or Seeker FPV? They're not a well-known company. Deep Space FPV. I haven't heard of them before. So if they just had Joe Bob design this frame to look cool, it might be a disaster. If they had somebody that knows what they're doing design it, and or they've got a pilot on staff that flew it a bunch, maybe it's really good. There's no way for me to know. So yeah, careful. Oh, this is pretty interesting. GetRC Air Unit Camera Module Housing Kit. Ah, look at that little two-piece design. Neat. There's no bayonet mount on the front here, so there's no way to put an ND filter on this. So don't buy this. If you want something like this, get the Flywoo one, and then you can use the Flywoo ND filters. This is a complete waste of a product. What are you doing, GetFPV? Come on. They put 0 provisions on this thing for an ND filter. What a complete waste of time. That is absolutely maddening. Sub 250 has been around for a while. This is probably a better bet, although this is only a 2.5 inch. It's got these stupid ass guards on the side. Take those off if you buy this. They kill yaw performance and they just add a bunch of weight. Again, I'm trying to see if these are removable arms. Ooh, Nick Burns has a video. There you go. Watch Nick Burns' video. He is the goddamn man. It does kind of look like the arms are removable, so this could be okay. For me, if I'm going to buy something like this, it's going to be a Quadmula Jin, DJI N3. But this is probably okay, and it's a bind and fly, which is pretty slick. 4.9 G. What? What? 4.9? What the hell's that about? What's 4.9 for? What? That's not what 04 is it? What the hell's 4.9? So the bandwidth is 4.9 to 5.3. And the center frequency is 5.1. What is that about? What is that for? .1. What? That's super strange. Rain Squad FPV says 4.9 is used in war. It's a different bandwidth to throw off jamming. Oh boy. Yeah, and look, another one, 1.3. Wow. Enjoy it while we still... We need to enjoy FPV while we still... I mean, they'll never be able to take tiny... We need to enjoy FPV outside of the house for as long as we possibly can here, because it ain't going to last forever, my friends. Yeah, we'll always be able to tiny whoop inside the house, but enjoy flying outside while you can, my friends. Jesus. Don't sell that on PyroDrone. Come on, PyroDrone. Don't sell that product. GetRC Vapor. Who cares? Oh my god, a Bonka battery. Jesus Christ. Bonka made FPV batteries way back in the day. 1800 mAh. Jesus, hellballs. That's a big battery. 342 grams. Holy shit. I don't know a goddamn thing about Bonka batteries. They used to be okay, but they didn't survive, so they couldn't have been that great. Look at this. I saw this on Instagram, actually. Can you imagine? Can you imagine just being like, oh, I gotta have it. Yeah, I got 4,600. Can you imagine, like, having that much money and that little common sense? like this is something. This is for someone that's been flying FPV for a long time and is probably going to want to custom build something like this to carry like a very specific platform. I don't know, maybe for all I know this could be the best Cinelifter that exists. But man, a bind and fly $5,000 Cinelifter is just incredibly weird. But I don't know, like, look, Cinelifters haven't been around for very long, so for all I know, this arm design could be the best arm design that exists. So maybe I'm the idiot here, and maybe this thing is a screaming deal at $4,700. It comes with its own case. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this is confusing. God help the person that's just starting out flying FPV that buys this, because he's going to kill someone or himself or herself. BetaFPV light radio, another BetaFPV light radio. Look, it's the fourth one. Holy Christ. Maybe they got this one right. What did they change? They took FrSky away from it. Oh, it's got 2 extra channels. What a complete waste of time. Oh, no. 15... What? Whatever. Support for phone, tablet. What? Who cares? Brother Hobby 2808. That's a big old motor. 1350 kV. Brother Hobby ripped off. Brother Hobby ripped Kebab off pretty nastily back in the day, and so I try really hard not to buy Brother Hobby products. I'm looking for the mounting pattern, 19 by 19 mounting. I would, if this had a 16 by 16 mount pattern, I would actually buy it, but it doesn't. So go to hell. There's plenty of other 2808 motors that aren't made by companies that rip off really hardworking members of the FPV community. Bunch of Flywoo Goku stuff. I love that they use white PCBs. 04 cooling kit. Make your 04 light really heavy. Yay! For somebody, this thing is perfect. This is the little mount that Flywoo has for the 04 light. If you want regular screw mounting for your 04 light camera, this is what you should get. This is the little bayonet mount here that you can then put this ND filter on. This cooling kit here makes sense for like if you're gonna put an 04 light into like an RC car or something like that. I don't necessarily know why you would put this into an FPV build. Just because this is so big and heavy at this point, you might as well go to the 04 Pro, right? There it is. You can buy just it's out of stock. I bet you I bought the very last one, but yeah, this is actually really great. And then here's the ND filters that match up with it. Really cool. I almost bought a set of these when I was doing this order. XT30s, XT60s with just a nice little molded piece here. This is where the cables break off from the XT60s and XT30s. So this is actually kind of cool. But then I realized I could just do the same thing with a couple pieces of shrink wrap, so I didn't spend the $4. I probably should have. It's cool, different colors. Kind of slick. Hummingbird 702 30,000 kV. These motors make mega power. These are what come on the Race V2. Oh, that's interesting. 380 mAh 6S, 62 grams. Huh. If you've drank the Kool-Aid and you've gone 6S on your micros, this might be a good battery for you. But instead, you should switch back to 4S. T-Motor 4944. Oh, no, this is like a crazy T-mount. Ultra lightweight propeller. Very specific prop. Really pitchy, though. 44 pitch, and then super lightweight with T-mount only. Weird propeller. Like, the fact that it's so pitchy, you're going to have to put it onto a somewhat aggressive motor. Like, I wouldn't put this on a motor smaller than, like, 1804. I think this would be even better on, like, a 2004 motor. Really weird propeller. If you've got like a low KV motor, that might be the prop for you. Other than that, though, I don't know. Let's head over to GetFPV. Oh, a Hazingi storage bag. Look at this. Next time I do, well, is it fireproof? Oh no, it's polyester. Don't put batteries in there. Yeah, it's just a bag. Don't put batteries in there. Axis Flying 04 camera housing. Let's see. There's a chance that there's like a little lip on the side here, which maybe works with an ND filter. So this might not be the end of the world, but it's awful big. Just get the Flywoo one. The Flywoo one we know works with ND filters, and it's going to be a lot lighter than this. So yeah, don't get that. GetRC 2207 1960. I don't know if I would buy a GetRC motor over like an RC in power. Some solder. Happy model. Hey, very cool. Happy model 1102 13,500 kV. This is a really good motor. For if you want to stretch it, this will work on a 2-inch prop. In my opinion, though, this is a better match for a 1.6 or a 1.8 inch propeller. 1.8 inch being 45 millimeter prop. Great motor. Great motor. This is super similar to what comes with the Mobula 704, which flies awesome out of the box. GetRC 1002, 18,000 kV and 20. Oh, yeah. There we go. About fucking time somebody makes some 1002s with a higher kV. If you are doing the 1S 75mm thing, this 25,000 kV 1002 is probably, if not the best motor option for you. It's got no plugs, so you're going to have to direct solder it, which is dumb. But 25,000 kV is very rare in a 1002, so that's actually a pretty interesting motor. Let me get caught up on chat again. Jim Bob says, Joe Bob? Perfect. Kevin Sumner says, is low band 4.9? HD0 added low band support a while ago. 1.3 used to be common long range analog. Yeah, 1.3 is still used for long range. I don't know if low band is 4.9. That's a really good question, actually. I wouldn't think so. I would think that low band is like 5.7 or 5.6 or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a really good question that I'm not going to answer. That I'm not going to look up. Kevin Sumner also says, Foxeer analog module band X. Oh, look at that. Goes down to 4.9. Okay, so there we go. Let me guess. That's a war VTX, isn't it? It sure is. Yeah, so it's wartime stuff. But, I mean, I guess if you want to do... here we go. Band X. Well, so band L is, I believe, low band. And so that makes sense. So look, low band is 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. That makes a lot of sense. It looks like Foxeer has dropped even lower. 5.3, 5.4, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, and then all the way down to band X, 4.9, 5.0, 5.1. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure... I mean, I think we're supposed to have our ham licenses anyway. Even with your ham license, operating down on these frequencies might be illegal. But, I mean, whatever. You're not going to get caught. It's fine. But, like, this is war shit. This I don't know. I guess if you want to do long-range stuff and you want to be as far as possible away from everybody else, maybe you can do that. But don't do that. Nobody else can watch you. It's going to be weird. What the hell is this? 80 amp. Whoa. 80 amp 2 to 8S BL Heli individual ESC. Look at this thing. So this is kind of specifically for lifters. I love that Acon keeps making stuff. If you've got a lifter and you want the end-all, be-all individual arm ESC, this very well might be it. Acon makes the best ESCs I've ever run by quite a margin. So yeah, this is pretty slick. Look at that fancy cover on there, that fancy aluminum heat sink cover on it. If I do a lift, wow, and it's only $30. Yo, usually these like big amp individual ESCs are like heinous expensive. I think $30 is a pretty good deal. That's pretty slick. If I was going to do a lifter build, this is what I would be running. Hell yeah, Acon. Good for you. GetRC T-Cube, who cares? Why is that so much fun to say? Luminaire batteries, who cares? Hey, here's the Heavy Model Super X. This is the, in my opinion, this is the way to go. If you want a lightweight Cinewhoop AIO. If you're going to do the ultimate freestyle build for 2025, this is the AIO, I believe. It'll work with the Meteor 65 Pro frame. It's nice and lightweight. Be careful with this UFL. The UFL, I have two of these. On one of them, this UFL did break off. So be super mindful. Plug your antenna into it, and then do a nice big blob of E6000 around the whole damn thing, and then you should be totally fine after that. Just do something. Don't do nothing. You Can FPV says, wait, that made you say enjoy flying outside while you can. Wait, what made you say enjoy flying outside while you can? All the wartime stuff, right? Like it's in my opinion, it's inevitable that either something bad's going to happen in this country, or our current fascists in charge are just going to say, like, no more drone stuff, because it'll give you, the people, an ability to fight us, the oligarch, more easily. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure there will be a point where it's just like, nope, not allowed anymore. And whether or not allowed anymore is we're going to stop every single thing at the border, that'll make tiny whooping inside the house a lot more difficult. But at that point, we just have to buy individual components, right? Because there's no way to catch every single one of these little things that comes in. No matter what, there'll be a way for us to get tiny whoop stuff, I'm sure. It'll be a lot more expensive, but yeah. So yeah, this is it. In my opinion, this is the best of the currently available lightweight AIOs. It's not as good as the 2G4 in terms of how much electrical noise. One of the reasons that this is lighter weight is because they've removed capacitance. And so your video feed is going to be a little bit more noisy on this than the 2G4. Whoa! It's the fucking $90. What? Holy hell. I don't know about that. Oh my god. Is it $90 everywhere? What the hell? That's what the whole tiny whoop should cost. 84 on race day quads. That's a little bit better. Oh my god, dude. That makes the BetaFPV Air and Matrix AIOs a lot more realistic. Jesus, $85 on WeBleed. Oh my god, dude. That's really expensive. Mine have been super durable though. And so if you want to save money initially, you can get the BetaFPV stuff, but then it's probably going to die, and then it's going to go in the garbage can, and you're going to have to buy it all over again. So, you know, spend almost twice as much money for something that, in my experience, has been a lot more durable. Or what you should actually do is just buy it from Banggood, because it's $52, and then you'll free delivery, and then you'll just have to wait like a month for it. So there you go. Hopefully you don't get donkeyed on God knows what the tariffs are today, because, you know, fascism. Thermal cameras. See, this is why we won't be able to fly outside indefinitely, because half of FPV is now designed for killing people. It's just insane. This kind of stuff I really like. Conversion kits to make 04 work in frames that are currently available. This is great. Otherwise, you know, you have to buy an entire new frame, and that's ridiculous. So this is actually really, really, really good. All right, last but not least, race day quads. They're probably, I mean, they're now owned by GetFPV, so it's probably going to be all the same stuff, but just for the sake of argument, we'll take a quick scroll. What the hell is this? I keep seeing this. What is this? What? I don't care. Hey, I'm gonna be looking at these. I'm really interested in trying to build a dual operator, sub 400 gram cyclist chasing setup, and I think this is how I'm gonna do it. And so the more places that carry this, the better. This is pretty slick. Apparently, you can get this set up pretty easily. What does it weigh? 71 grams. Jesus. And that's without the 04. I'm assuming that's without the 04 mounted in it. Oh my god. 71 grams. I didn't think it'd be that heavy. Yikes. Well, whatever. I'm a ways off from that, so I'll have to think about that for a bit. FizzPV says the fact that it is showing up in U.S. retail chains means that it is functionally useless as a military frequency. I mean, I bet you they're using it right now. I know what you're saying, but I bet you it's literally being used today. Sporny says DarwinFPV made a waterproof housing for the 04 Pro. That's pretty cool. FPV says, oh man, would that 25,000 kV 1002 be good on a Meteor 75 Pro? It would potentially be the best motor possible on a Meteor 75 Pro. You're going to have to direct solder them, which is super annoying, but yeah. Kevin Sumner says, low band and probably 4.9 in the US requires not just ham license, but also special something from the FCC. Oh my God, yeah. Don't do it, friends. Don't buy the wartime stuff. Craig says, PayPal, you spending money, FPV Vegan flew the Empire State Building. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I did see an article, though, that New York City is fed up with FPV, and they're looking for somebody to kind of make an example out of. I really hope that it's not vegan. If it's going to be somebody, though, it's probably going to be him. So I really hope that that he doesn't get made an example out of. I hope the whole article is bullshit, to be honest. But they specifically said in the article, the NYPD actually specifically said they don't care if it's a drone that's 5 grams or 5 pounds, which is like the really scary kind of part of that. So yeah, I hope he's all right. I hope he's going to be okay. If he just flew the Empire State Building, obviously that he hasn't been contacted yet. But yeah, that's it's completely insane. But I don't know. It's tough, right? Because like, for the NYPD to be like, oh, tiny whoops are fine, but like, 3-inch rig is not okay for flying around the city. Like, they can't do that. They just have to say drones are not allowed. You know what I mean? Like. And, like, that sucks for us, but, like, I get it, right? I get it from their perspective. They can't send all their officers out carrying fucking little tiny scales. And so it's super difficult. But, yeah, I hope he doesn't get made an example out of. That would really, really suck, because he seems like a really nice guy. Islander FPV says, tried switching back and forth between PAL and NTSC on the Hummingbird VF AIO, still no OSD. Message NewbieDrone to see if it's a weird CAC thing requiring their cameras only, but I hope not. Let me guess, you direct soldered the camera, didn't you? That's why you can't just really quickly swap the NewbieDrone camera back on to see if the Euro OSD comes back. Mape says, what do you think this Radio Master sneak peek is about? I don't know of a Radio Master. Oh yeah, they showed like an. I have no clue. I don't have any connections whatsoever with Radio Master. But I mean, it's either a transmitter or there's not many things it can be. If it even remotely looks like a transmitter, then it's a transmitter. Apparently the way to make money in FPV is to put an 18th button on the transmitter that doesn't do anything, or another set of colors, and then everybody will buy them. It's absolutely insane. Kevin Sumner says, would you ever do dual op camera drones? If so, would you rather be pilot or gimbal op? Oh man, I would love to. The dual op setup has always been super, super, super attractive to me. It's just really tough to do. I would kind of like to be the gimbal op because like I've been flying FPV forever, right? But I would gladly do either. It'd be so fun to do either. It's just so freeing to have a dual op rig is the most freeing thing possible because you can track any direction with the horizon level. Like it's the dream, you know, like for chasing these cyclists specifically, it's the dream. You know, I can go out in front of them, I can go alongside them. I can fly like low behind on the other side of the barriers, down really low. And then so you've got the fucking barriers whizzing by at 1,000 miles an hour. How fucking cool is that? I can go on the other side of trees, and so like you get a really cool shot, and then the tree whips by you. It's just super cool, and it's another challenge. One of the things I've always really been fascinated by with it is that the FPV pilot and the gimbal operator have to communicate quickly and concisely and clearly, and so you get the opportunity to develop like a shorthand with your gimbal operator or with your FPV pilot, right? Because like the gimbal operator is going to have to communicate quite a bit with the FPV pilot, faster, slower, closer, farther, higher, lower, because you're relying on each other, and that is really cool. That is next level cool for me as a cinematic FPV nerd. So yeah, realistically, I would be the FPV pilot, and somebody else would be the gimbal operator, because I've been flying FPV forever and I'm pretty good at it. And yeah, I probably would not have access to another pilot that's better as an FPV at flying FPV than me. You know what I mean? It would probably be I would probably get handed a photography drone pilot, and you know, photography drones are basically flying gimbals, right? And so they would be able to jump onto the gimbal transmitter and operate the gimbal pretty decently, right? Kevin Sumner also says, and the NYPD is known as a paragon of sanity and restraint policing, right? Yeah, exactly. Kevin Smith says HGLRC. What about him? Sporny says, could you please look up the Darwin Case? I would love to see a reaction. Darwin Case. This will be the last thing that we do because it's already 9 o'clock. Do I just type in Darwin Case? No, that's not going to work. Darwin FPV Case. What is it? This? Look at this fucking thing. It's actually kind of cool. It is for the 03 though. That is a really cool idea. I like this a lot. I don't know how the hell this is not going to overheat. Being sealed in there like that. It's ribbed for your pleasure. And I thought this was a clear window, but this is a heat sink that's going to touch the front of this. I'm assuming. It fucking better be. This is a really cool idea. People have done this over the years, and I've always been like, it's pretty slick. So I'm assuming this is their 04. Whoa, look at that. And they made it a better form factor. The form factor of that 03 one is a little wacky. This is a much better form factor. Oh, and they set it up for ND filters. Thank God. I want to see it opened. What is that? What? What is this about? Oh, it bolts. Does it bolt right onto the air unit? It's waterproof? That's a great idea. Oh, okay. External. Oh, right, because it's waterproof. This is cool. I like this a lot, actually. There we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so the air unit sits in the back, and then they got a couple cables. Yeah, this is slick. Um, yeah, for somebody, this is awesome. Ah, they give you thermal paste with it. That's going to be annoying. I wonder if they give you 5 thermal pastes because every single time you open it, you have to re-thermal paste it. That could get a little bit annoying. This is great, though. This is the kind of thing... I once got contacted by somebody that knew me from motorsports, actually, from autocross. And he found out that I was into FPV, and he said, hey... I want to, I run a team of instructors, and we don't want to be in the cars anymore, which I'm sure you can understand. How can I do that with like 04? Is it good enough quality? Like, how would we go about doing that? And we had a conversation over the next couple of days about it. And it's not going to work on most on most circuits. You know, most racetracks are 2 to 4 miles, and they typically do a good amount of sound abatement work with dirt. And so a lot of times there'll be a big ass berm on the inside of the track or on the outside of the track, and that berm is, you know, when the car drives behind that berm, that's it. Like, you would have to get your goggles up hundreds of feet, right? And so that was like the bulk of the conversation was like, look, it's about line of sight. Like, I explained line of sight, and we talked a lot about that. But something like this, if they were at a racetrack where they had like a big ass tower that they could be in with the goggles, and they could get line of sight through the whole fucking racetrack, this would be amazing. Especially if this has like a 1/4-20 mount on the bottom, because you take this, you put a fucking suction cup on it, you slap it on the top of your student's car, on the top of the windshield, and then you don't have to be in the fucking car with them. You get them on a cell phone call, you talk to them live, and then you've got visual. So, like, for somebody, this thing is awesome. Having the antennas stick out of the top makes it kind of tough for FPV stuff, because, like, you crash it, you're gonna annihilate those antennas. But, like, this is really cool for somebody. Hopefully this is what you were talking about. DarwinFPV case. I love that it's waterproof too. Wow, that's a bit much. $380 without the 04. That's a lot of money. I'm assuming it doesn't come with the 04. If it comes with the 04, it's not too bad. Hold on. I think it might come with the 04. If this comes with an 04, I might buy this because I need an 04. It does not come with the 04. That's a lot of money. It does? $75 for non-04. Ah, shit. I might legitimately buy one of these fucking things and just take the 04 Pro out of it. I think this is the cheapest possible way to get an 04 Pro at the moment. What's the 04 Pro normally? $280? So it's an extra $100? That's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. Yeah, I can't in good conscience do that. That's a bit much. But hey, if you're desperate for an 04, right now, the name of the game, if you're desperate for an 04 right now, you're looking for stuff like this and you're looking for bind and flies. If you can find the right bind and fly, you can get a half decent frame, you can get a half decent set of motors, you can maybe get a half decent flight control and ESC. So like when I get all the way desperate for an 04, that's what I'll be looking at. $100 for a case that you might never use, that's a bit much. If you can come up with a use for the case, though, like down the road, that's, yeah, hell yeah. Pretty cool. Good call. Good job, Darwin. That's I love that they make that. That's fucking rad. Last comment of the live stream. Wait, no. Kevin Sumner says, how much do you depend on your butt gyro while instructing? Not much. With the driver does 100%, but as an instructor, you're mainly working with them on the line that they're running, the breaking points. You can see the breaking point by the nose dive down. And so you could absolutely do it not in the car, for sure. You'd be a little bit limited because, like, if they're going through the corner not quite as fast as the car can, then it'll help. But here's the thing. As an instructor, you're in someone else's car. So you don't know what the maximum cornering speed is. So a lot of times you just rely on the attitude of the car. Is the car starting to slide? Is it going into understeer? And you can tell that usually just by listening. And you'll have comms with the driver. So you'll be able to hear when the tires start to make noise. And the drivers are usually pretty good at that. Drivers, it is, and it's kind of up to the driver to be the one that pushes the car as fast as it can go through any given corner. So yeah, you could be a super effective instructor and not be in the car. Sim racing, there are loads and loads and loads of sim racing instructors. That's the exact scenario that they're in. They have no G-force feedback whatsoever, and they do a phenomenal job. So it's the one of the biggest ones is Coelho. He's a pretty well-known YouTuber as well, and yeah, he has great success instructing through the sim. Jim Bob says 04 Pro 229. Yeah, okay, nah, that's way too much money. You can find a bind and fly with an 04 in it, and get a half decent motor ESC flight controller. Limits 20 says a use for the case would be to put it on a helmet with a small battery and broadcast live for your friends in motorsports or karting, for example. Yeah, for sure. There's some really cool uses for that. That's a really neat thing. Moss1 says there's an 04 for sale on Bardwell's Marketplace. Not anymore. Thank you for that. Marketplace US. Where? Fuck. A bunch of people already want it. Damn. Added. What does added mean? Oh, he added not Francis Bacon. Balls! If that 04 Pro is still available, I'll take it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on. It won't let me send it. Because we're not friends. There we go. Thank you for the heads up. It looks like I won't be getting it, but that was worth a shot. Yeah, if you guys see 04 Pros or 04 Lites for sale, please let me know. If they're like way more, if somebody's trying to make money off of selling them, I'm probably not super interested. But if it's like an extra 40, 50 bucks, I might be down. I need an 04 Lite more than I need an extra 04 Lite more than I need an extra 04 Pro, but I'll take whatever I can get at this point. Cool. Thanks for hanging, friends. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Go over to CiottiFPV.com and support me so I can keep doing this. Cool. Join my Patreon. That's the best way to support me. Hold on. I completely missed this. Craig sending a $25 PayPal. Thank you so much, brother. He says, spending money. This is how you guys support me. You shoot me a PayPal, you do a super chat, you join my Patreon, you buy some stuff for my Etsy store. I'm putting some more 3D printed stuff up there. tonight and tomorrow. Yeah, buy some stuff from buy some apparel. I got some cool stuff over my Teespring store. Book some one-on-one time if you really want to learn a lot fast through Fiverr. CiottiFPV.com, my friends. I'll see ya. Be back Sunday at might not be a live stream Sunday at 3. It depends on how quickly. I have a gig in Charlotte, but it's really early, so I might be back in time. If I don't see you Sunday, I'll see you Monday night. Cool? Be good, friends. Thanks for hanging. Bye-bye.